locally owned Good Karma brand station. Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what, because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. I shouldn't sit on my phone. I shouldn't sit on my phone. It's going to break. Like other people, Ben and Carrie were talking about dreams this morning. My dream, my nightmare, is breaking my phone. Like sitting on my phone and hearing the... Have you ever done that? Have you ever dropped your phone and it broke? So I've dropped my phone on pretty much every kind of floor you can think of. And then I was sitting in a parking lot. I got out the car. My phone slid off my lap, hit concrete in the case. And it broke. And so I wrote the company and said, y'all said it wouldn't break, and I was sitting in my car, and I was less than 3 feet off the ground, and my phone broke. They didn't reply. They was like, hold up, player, you're on your own. You're not getting anything. Sorry. But then that same case tore up. And it was raggedy. And I said, you have a lifetime warranty on your cases. Took a picture of it, sent it to them. They sent me a new one. That I was astounded at. I said, wow, that's pretty cool. So, we'll see. We shall see. So I've been going around asking people questions, and so... I just want to know, some people get a little, they feel some kind of way about it. But I always have to ask, I don't know if you know, but I've worked in the movie industry a little, and I've known a good number of actors and actresses. Very well-known names, met them, hung out with them, had meals with them, all that. And so, no, I'm not saying it so, oh, he's saying it so he can be all whatever. I'm saying it because my first love, my first thing that I wanted to be was a movie director. I wanted to be a movie director. I happened into radio because somebody said, you got a pretty good voice. You should be in radio. And I was in college trying to get into TV and film. And so I got into radio. But there's a movie hitting the theaters, and people are a little upset about it, which I don't really understand why. I don't understand why people are upset about Snow White. Does Snow White have to be white? I'm just asking. People have issues about the star. People have issues about the storyline. Oh, you're trying to make it. You're doing DEI and you're doing. So from Yahoo.com Entertainment, the rollout of Disney's live-action Snow White has been anything but a fairy tale. Starring Rachel Zegler as the title character and Gal Gadot, as the evil queen, has been shrouded in controversy for years. It was the 1937 animated classic, but it was first reported that the film was in the works in 2016 with a screenplay by Erin Cressida Wilson, The Girl on the Train, and uncredited contributions from Greta Gerwig, who wrote Barbie, and others. Mark Webb, The Amazing Spider-Man, signed on to direct in 2019, but drama started with the casting of Zegler, whose mother, oh my God, has Colombian roots. So in 2021, and this stuff started to unfold, and the 23-year-old made comments she made about the female character more empowered amid the narrative that Hollywood is too politically correct. And drama was fueled by Zegler's publicity shared her personal politics, which conflict with the 39-year-old Gadot. Is that how you say her name? Gal Gadot? Then there's the matter of the Seven Dwarves. With Disney using CGI to animate, can't talk today, Grumpy, Bashful, and Dopey and the gang, instead of casting little people in the roles. So now, we can't just have normal-sized people play the role? We got to have little people? Because then if you use little people, people will complain that you're using little people and that you're discriminating against people who are disabled or not disabled, or are they? Anyway, here are the biggest controversies of them all around the film, from Zegler's casting backlash to Disney's scale-back press tour ahead of the March 21st, hint, today is the 19th, release. Much like Halle Bailey playing Ariel in The Little Mermaid, there was a fuss over Zegler. So here's the problem. I guess white people just want white stuff. Just like black people want black stuff. And they get upset. So there was a fuss with Zegler being cast as Snow White by some hanging on to the phrase skin as white as snow. When it was announced, it was a huge thing that was trending on X for days because all the people were angry. Why would you be angry? It's a movie. It's a fictitious movie. How stupid are you? Amid the initial background, Zegler posted and deleted on X, "Yes, I am Snow White. No, I am not bleaching my skin for this role," according to the LA Times. She told Cosmopolitan in 2024 there was a lot of harassment over the casting for a certain group of people. They were showing up in my apartment and screaming profanity. Are you serious? Are you serious? We got stupid people in this country. Zegler's comments about modernizing Snow White cast a black cloud. Why I gotta be a black cloud? Anyway, it's been over 200 years since Snow White was published by the Brothers Grimm, them cats, in 1812, and getting close to 100 years since Disney made it into an animated film. Zegler, born in 2001, expressed excitement about the film, which was certainly dated in parts, as Frozen's own Anna dared to point out, would be modernizing the story. It's been a lightning rod for criticism. We just want to go back to pre-1960 to where the world was all white and we had segregation and we separated people. Does anybody really care that her mother's from Colombia? But I guess you're playing into the whole birth of a nation thing in 1923, right? One drop of black blood or one drop of blood that ain't white totally destroys your race. You have to be pure. Is anybody pure? Germans weren't even pure. This is weird. But yet, weren't the Brothers Grimm from Germany? Now I get the whole Snow White thing. People are making jokes. This is what Ziegler told Vanity Fair. People are making jokes about our film because of the PC Snow White, where it's like, yeah, it is because it needed that. It's an 85-year-old cartoon, and our version is a refreshing story about a woman who has a function beyond somebody. My prince will come. Someday my prince will come. But I think the flip side of that is you're missing the fact that it's just a fairy tale. So if you're going to make one, do like we did with The Wiz. Just make it all black, Snow White. All black Snow White. That's what we need. That way we'll get over all this drama and all this trouble and all these issues with everything. That's all we got to do. Just get an all black everything. So now we won't have any trouble. Whenever we pay for things, we got to pay twice. One black version, one white version, one Hispanic. And here's the kicker. She's Colombian. Do you hear anybody of Hispanic or Latino descent arguing or fighting? Is there a group of Latinas out with masks and boards and all kind of crazy stuff? No. You know why? Nobody cares.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 1017 The Truth.
This is 1017 The Truth, Kyle Wallace, and the time is now, Milwaukee. Truth to Power is your platform, and on my show, our community always has a voice. There is no topic that is off limits, and I always give you my authentic opinions on how I feel, because keeping it real is the only way I know how to get down. Listen to Truth to Power with me, Kyle Wallace, every day from noon to 1 p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on YouTube at 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Life's better with American Family Insurance, because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
President Trump and Elon Musk are forcing radical changes in Washington, from stopping payments for health care and threatening to restrict abortion rights to accessing Americans' private information. With Washington out of control, who we elect to the Wisconsin Supreme Court could be the last line of defense of our rights. The ACLU Voter Education Fund does not endorse or oppose candidates, but wants you to cast an informed vote in the Wisconsin Supreme Court election. So where do the candidates land on issues like abortion? Brad Schimmel stated he supports banning abortion. Susan Crawford successfully protected abortion rights while representing Planned Parenthood in Wisconsin. We need a Wisconsin Supreme Court that can be a check and balance to protect us when our rights are threatened at the federal level. On April 1st, Wisconsin voters will make a critical decision about the future of abortion in our state. To learn more about the Wisconsin Supreme Court candidates, visit aclu.org/WI2025. Paid for by ACLU Voter Education Fund, 212-549-2500. Not authorized by any candidate or candidate's agent or committee.
ACLU Voter Education Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris, listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire. Why? Because I got to talk to you about Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. You can accomplish quite a lot in just 6 years. Let me see, what can you do in 6 years? You can go from changing diapers to your kid can be in kindergarten and first grade. You can get a bachelor's and a master's degree. That's what I did. And maybe you can take up to 6 years to pay off brand new Pella windows and doors at 0% interest. 10-year warranty, it's always included, and your windows and doors are secure for years to come. Certain restrictions apply. Offer ends March 31st of 2025. Set your free in-home consultation today. Just go to PellaWI.com. That's PellaWI.com. 833-212-1017 is the number. Snow White. What about Snow Black? Don't even sound right together, right? Whitewash. Black sheep of the family. Because the black sheep was the odd one in a bunch. Like most of them are white, and then you have a black sheep, so it's like it's odd man out. You're the black sheep. Do people take these types of things more serious than they should be? Do people get a little more agitated at things that they probably shouldn't get agitated at? In other words, anytime you mention color or race, does it mean that it's mean? It's kind of redundant. Does it mean that it's bad? Or does it mean they just put it in context? Now, the funny part about it is when you mention it to white people, in their minds, in the minds of the ones that I spoke to, some of them, it was like, well, yeah, she's white. But then somebody brought up that if the person was Colombian, oh, well, that's okay because she was mixed. Like, you're actually claiming the white side and, like, dismissing the Colombian side or something? Like, what is that? Like, it's this, everybody latches on to the part of the person that they respond to. They latch on to the part of the person that they identify with. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Women do it all the time. Men do it all the time. But for some reason, we can't see it in other people. And that's usually because the majority of culture is predominantly white. the majority of culture reflects white attitudes, reflects white culture, what they think is right, what they believe should happen. And then we'll get like beside themselves when you challenge it, and now you're stupid. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, huh? Like you actually think that because it comes out of your mouth it's true, or you believe it, so that makes it true? No, it really doesn't. And so I challenged the person. You know, that doesn't make any sense. Well, what do you mean? It's normal. It's the right way. Really? Okay. What about this, and this? The reply was, well, that was before I was born. Exactly my point. So you haven't experienced it. So I'm trying to help you with something that you don't know so that you do know and you don't hold on to the narrow-mindedness that you hold on to when, in fact, there's more information. Bottom line, there's more information. Speaking of, from Axios.com, Trump administration, so somebody mentioned this to me, Trump administration, I can't talk today. Trump administration ends segregated facilities ban in federal contracts by Russell Contreras. So I read it. And they have a picture up that says for colored only. It said the Trump administration has announced the federal government will no longer unequivocally prohibit contractors from having segregated restaurants, waiting rooms, and drinking fountains. Why it matters. The change announced last month is an overlooked public memo, is a symbolic move first reported by NPR, and comes after President Trump revoked President Lyndon Johnson's decades-old order, Diversity and Affirmative Action Practices in the federal government. The big picture, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, as well as many state laws, still make segregated facilities illegal in all businesses, including federal contractors. But yes, critics say the recent change sends a message about the government's priorities and potentially eliminates a crucial enforcement tool. The change follows the Trump administration's reinterpretation of civil rights era law to focus on anti-white racism rather than discrimination against people of color. How about no discrimination against anybody and anti-everybody? Anti-racism out of anybody, if we're going to do it. In a public memo, the General Services Administration, GSA, said the change was needed after Trump revoked LBJ's 60-year-old executive order requiring federal contractors to refrain from employment discrimination. The memo also addresses Trump's executive order on gender identity. The clause in the Federal Acquisitions Regulation, or FAR, said contractors can't maintain or provide for its employees any segregated facilities. The memo stated that when issuing new solicitations or contracts, agencies could no longer include the clause about the prohibition of segregated facilities. So, FAR defines segregated facilities as work areas, restaurants, drinking fountains, transportation, housing, and others. Federal agencies have already started adopting the changes. Homeland Security, National Institutes of Health, for instance, have issued notices not to consider the segregation clause in the future. So what are they saying? Ibrahim Hooper of the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR, said in a statement, as our nation unfortunately becomes more divided and polarized, the last thing we need is any effort that could be perceived as allowing a racial segregation. Hooper said the nation must not turn back the clock when racism was written into the law. And so what should we do? 833-212-1017 is the number. What should we do? Before the Civil Rights Act of 1964, businesses, public facilities in the South practiced racial segregation with signs directing whites and blacks to restrooms and entrances. In Texas, signs ordered whites, black Americans, and Mexican Americans into separate restrooms and facilities. Young civil rights activists challenged these segregation laws with sit-ins and nonviolent demonstrations and all that. The 1965 order gave the Secretary of Labor the authority to ensure equal opportunity for people of color and women in federal contractors, recruitment, hiring, training, and other employment practices. It required federal contractors to refrain from employment discrimination and take affirmative action to ensure equal opportunity based on race, color, religion, and national origin. Here's the bottom line. Businesses and contractors can't be segregated against members of protected class, but it will be up to the federal government to investigate alleged violations. So the immediate economic cost for contractors is now lifted and opens the door to potentially segregated transgender people or other people if contractors believe they won't face punishment. And what it comes down to for me here is it sounds like this was really written for transgender, when in fact, it's for everybody. And so something needs to be done, and we need a better understanding of this particular change because it doesn't make any sense. And I want to see if people will speak out against it. What are your thoughts? 833-212-1017. Are we going backwards in time? It seems like we are. It seems like we're losing our place. RC says it should be called Snow Bright. Wow, I'm not touching that. Should we? Is it time that we start to formulate a plan? I talked about it yesterday, the Democratic Party. We need to formulate a plan. This screaming and hollering against Trump is not going to change it when you don't have a plan. We need a plan. Not white America, not black America. America needs a plan because we don't have one right now. Good afternoon, Lana Banana. We don't have one right now. And it's getting a bit scary. It's getting a bit scary because we're starting to see the breakdown. We've already broken down the family. School is already on the breakdown. We've already separated and segregated people so that basically the only people that will go to college are white males. Where are we heading to? It's like reverse discrimination. You're trying to make up for all the perceived things that people are doing. And Snow White is really just a afterthought. You know, it's an abrasive response to your perceived the world don't revolve around you. How arrogant can you be? How stupid can you be? I know I shouldn't say that. My mother told me that. How stupid can you be to think the world actually revolves around you because of who you are or your race? Makes no sense. It's as bad as thinking the world owes you something because of your race. The world owes you nothing. And until you step up and do the things that you're supposed to do, personally, I don't think the world's going to give you anything. I don't think the world's going to give you anything anyway. You have to fight for every single thing you do. So if you're going to be segregated, be segregated. Your own food, your own clothing, your own gas, your own refineries, sounds like that's where we're headed. But I remember distinctly the last time black people were in this place and we started to build our own, we were very successful at it. Yeah, and then they burned everything down. So then there's that. And now with 1017 The Truth Traffic, here's Debbie Lazica. What you got?
We've got a pretty hefty ride southbound 43 starting at Capitol Drive pretty much all the way down through the Marquette down to the KK River. In the backups there, right around Fond du Lac Avenue, we do have a crash that is off on the shoulder. Should be gone pretty soon if it hasn't already gone away. On the northbound side, got some backups from Kilbourne all the way up to Keefe. Heads up if you're heading to the airport, the off-ramp from 94 southbound to eastbound 119 or the airport spur. All the lanes of that ramp are blocked right right now with some debris. So your best bet would be to exit at Layton, head over to Howell Avenue, and you can get to the airport that way. And check the TMG4 Storm Team forecast tonight. Rain switches over to snow, up to 2 inches possible. It'll be breezy with a low of 29. Tomorrow, a chance of snow early, breezy with some clearing skies throughout the day, a high of 41. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
We expect our judges to be fair, impartial, to keep us safe. But Brad Schimmel cut plea deals with child pornographers. He blamed underage victims of sexual assault for their bad judgment. And Schimmel joined extreme MAGA Republicans in trying to ban abortion statewide, even for victims of rape and incest. Now he wants us to put him on the Supreme Court, where he could strip away our rights and be a rubber stamp for Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Brad Schimmel, dangerous, extreme, and unfit for the Supreme Court. Judge Susan Crawford knows right from wrong and has spent her life keeping us safe. Crawford protected nursing home patients from identity theft and fought for the rights of workers across Wisconsin. Crawford will always protect our right to choose and is the check and balance we need against Donald Trump and Elon Musk. On April 1st, Judge Susan Crawford for Supreme Court. Paid for by Power to the Polls Action Fund, not authorized by any candidate or candidate's agent or committee.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years. From their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee, their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great Impressions, perceptions, everything.
Milwaukee, it's time for a mandate. We Energies has raised rates 7 times in the last 12 years, and now they're planning new gas plants and extending the life of old coal plants in Oak Creek. That's an investment scheme where only shareholders win. We need a mandate. No new power plants or coal extensions until affordability is guaranteed for all. Join us at the public hearing on Tuesday, March 25th at 1 p.m. at the Oak Creek Community Center Ballroom. It's time to show up, speak out, and demand change. Milwaukee, let's make our voices heard.
Is your washing machine not quite getting the job done the way you expected? Running your dryer over and over because it is taking forever to dry your clothes. Be frustrated no more, because Create Suds Laundromat in Milwaukee can get rid of all your washing and drying headaches. They offer new big load washers and dryers to reduce your cleaning time and even have free Wi-Fi for customers. Stop battling with stubborn stains and piles of laundry and visit Create Suds Laundromat. They are open every day from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. Another tough night for Giannis and the Bucks as they fall to Golden State on the road, 104-93. After the game, head coach Doc Rivers speaking on the issues facing his team.
We don't have the right space and the ball's not moving. We're not attacking. We're not getting to the paint. I got a whole list, but we got to do it, and I got to get them to do it. That's my job.
The loss drops the Bucks to an overall record of 38-30 as they get set to travel out to L.A. on Thursday night to face off with the Lakers. To the NFL, where the Green Bay Packers have signed wide receiver Mecole Hardman to a 1-year deal. And lastly, we'll head over to baseball, where the Milwaukee Brewers fall into Seattle in spring training, this one by a final score of 9-3. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Once you know, you can't not know.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Our fourth annual Tory Low Community Cleanup is on Saturday, April 12th from 8 a.m. till 12 p.m. And we want you to be there. Go to truthcommunitycleanup.com, sign up, volunteer, help keep Milwaukee clean. Everybody that signs up for the last cleanup site will get a free lunch provided by Cousin Subs. Register today. Where do you gotta go? truthcommunitycleanup.com to clean and beautify our city together. Tory Low Community Cleanup on Saturday, April 12th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. is presented by 1MKE. We are 1MKE. And sponsored by Cousin Subs, Reyes Coca-Cola, Landmark Credit Union, and Waste Management. So make sure you come join us. Got to go clean up the city with Tory Low. 833-212-1017 is the number. You ended it on the best part. See, right there. All right. So you thought you was going to catch me saying something or singing, didn't you? Oh, it's like that? All right. Yeah, I would throw my phone. I ain't throwing my phone. I already dropped it on the floor and cracked it. And I mean, it was one of those cracks where, you know, like one of those spider web cracks where it cracks in the corner and then it just all the way through your phone to the point where when you touch it, it almost breaks. But then I started getting embarrassed because when I would press, it would like, people were like, go get a new phone. Like, what are you doing? Well, I can't afford it. I spent $1,100 for this phone and it broke and I couldn't afford the insurance. Can you, like, do you think about a phone is $1,100 right now? Like, can you think about that? Like, what are we doing? Like, when do we get suckered by Apple? That's a $500 phone. Oh my God. Now we pay $1,000, $1,100, $1,200. But I never need a computer. I can scan. I can send. People don't fax anymore, do they? I know some people that fax. You can do all those things with a phone. And we got into all this because of what? Snow White. It's Snow White's fault. It's all Snow White's fault. I'm not touching that, Fonz. Come on, man. That's whoo. Yeah. I'm not touching that. Did I say hello to Lana Banana? I think I did. They said call her Snow Bright or Snow Light. Y'all silly. You all are silly. 833-212-1017 is the number. Hey, did you hear that there's a rumor that Jonathan Majors and Megan Good are married? Jonathan Majors and Megan Good have reportedly tied the knot. Tuesday, March 18th, 35-year-old actor let wife slip when discussing the 43-year-old actress during an interview promoting his upcoming film, Magazine Dreams. Sources confirmed to both People Magazine and ET that the couple got hitched earlier that morning. She's just my best friend, my wife, Majors said of Good before he quickly corrected himself and added, my fiance. According to the source to ET, that's Entertainment Tonight, the slip-up occurred because the Lovecraft Country actor and the Harlem star were married just after 11 a.m. on yesterday during an intimate private wedding at their home in Los Angeles. Major's mother is said to have officiated, which Good's mother served as a witness. Other sources claim to have seen the newlyweds already giving off that newlywed glow at events over the weekend and during a special screening of his film last Friday. She just motivates me so much, and she guides me, and I guide her. Huh. Okay. You remember her, right? It's his first marriage. Megan Good's second. She was previously married to actor turned pastor Devon Franklin from 2012 to 2022. Franklin has also moved on romantically and recently announced his engagement to celebrity fitness trainer Maria Castillo. Okay. Why should we care about this? That's what I really want to know. Is this a part of pop culture or just crap we hear about? Because I don't know if anybody should care. I don't know if anybody should care. 833-212-1017 is the number. I'm sorry. There's a story from last October. I'm digging back up because it just. So Bath and Body Works issued an apology, and I know people talked about this before, but it just crossed my, for a candle package that resembled Ku Klux Klan hoods. In an early attempt to jump onto the holiday spirit failed, Bath & Body Works has issued an apology over a potentially offensive design. Recently, the popular personal care brand went viral when consumers noticed the packaging design on one of the new holiday candles resembled Ku Klux Klan hoods. Interesting. So I wonder what you would call them. Clandles? Oh, yes, no. I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. With all this other stuff that's going on in the segregation, one of the things that disturbs me is that people hear things and they don't get the gist of what the argument is. They don't understand the bottom line. Businesses and contractors can't segregate against members of protected classes, and it's up to the federal government to investigate alleged violations. That's what that was about. But if you read the article title, it says Trump administration ends segregated facilities ban in federal contracts. And then they show for coloreds only a picture from Bettman Archives and Getty Images. And so it sends a message that if you don't read enough of the story, why it matters, big picture, yes, but zoom in, what they're saying, what you should probably be reading is the bottom line. The bottom line should be first, and then you give me all the information. But you didn't, because you presented the story in a way that isn't quite accurate. And so it's being a little, in my case, I think it's a little disingenuous to say that they can segregate. The immediate economic cost for contractors is now lifted and opens the door to potentially segregated transgender people or other people if contractors believe they won't face punishment. Sounds like that's what the issue was. Because odds are they're not going to create segregation. They've already got their own segregated stuff, country clubs and all that stuff, right? So when are we going to work on healing that? I wonder. When will black people work on healing us? Healing the relationship with other races? When? And not hide behind the, well, they don't want to. When will we work on that? I think it'll happen. Probably not in my lifetime, but I think it'll happen. 833-212-1017 is the number. It's 1017 The Truth's Dr. Ken for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. You can accomplish quite a lot. In 6 years, you can go from changing diapers to dropping off your child at school. You can get a bachelor's and a master's degree. You can also take just 10 years to pay off your brand new Pella windows and doors at 0% interest. So that means that for the first 6 years, if you take 6 years or less, you pay 0 interest. 10-year labor warranty is always included, so your windows are secure for years to come. Certain restrictions apply. You might want to check it out. Go to PellaWI.com. Offer ends March 31st of 2025. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWisconsin.com. That's PellaWI.com.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's your boy Tory Lowe, and I need to let you know the award-winning Tory Lowe Show can now be streamed live on YouTube every day from 1 to 4. I am now bringing all the smoke on YouTube every single weekday. I need you to go to YouTube right now and subscribe to 1017 The Truth and check out the award-winning Tory Lowe Show live every afternoon. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube. Now that's powerful.
Finding stable housing shouldn't be a struggle. The Milwaukee Rental Housing Resource Center connects renters, property owners, and partners to the resources they need, whether it's rental assistance, legal aid, mediation, or tenant education. No matter what your situation is, you do not have to go at it alone. Get assistance today by visiting renthelpmke.org. That is renthelpmke.org, or stop by their office at 728 North James Lovell Street in Milwaukee. At the Milwaukee Rental Housing Resource Center, they are here for all your housing needs.
Donald Trump is out of control, stopping payments for health care and food for hungry kids, eliminating the Department of Education, and letting unelected billionaire Elon Musk fire anyone he wants and get access to your most private information. We need a Supreme Court justice who will keep them in check before they go too far. That's Judge Susan Crawford.
I'm Judge Susan Crawford. As a former prosecutor and now as a judge, I believe in protecting you, your family, and your right to privacy, and that women have the right to make their own decisions about their health care. Because to me, that's just common sense.
Donald Trump and Elon Musk are both backing Brad Schimmel. He'll do whatever they want. That's why we need Judge Susan Crawford, the common sense judge who will keep them in check. Judge Susan Crawford for Supreme Court. Paid for by Susan Crawford for Wisconsin. Crawford for WI.com.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. One call, that's all.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
For general contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Hey, all Black-owned business owners and entrepreneurs, are you looking to share your story and grow your reach? So we've teamed up with Associated Bank for our Black-owned business give back. Each quarter, 4 lucky businesses and business owners will win an opportunity to spotlight their brand and journey on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. So to sign up for your business spotlight interviews, visit blackbusinessgiveback.com. That's blackbusinessgiveback.com. Let's rebuild our community's backbone through exposure right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. For official rules, head to blackbusinessgiveback.com. Associated Bank, member FDIC. 833-212-1017 is the number. I got so much stuff I got to do. I got to move this and stick this here and set that over there and move this over here. And it's all somebody else's fault, right? Because we always blame other people for our problems. our misfortune. Ant said, it's the others that has to heal. It's clear that they have a problem with black prosperity. I think we all need to heal. Yes, they have an issue with black prosperity. It seems like every time there was an issue with us, it was to stop us from moving forward financially. I keep talking about it. Freedman's Bank and, the Greenwood neighborhood in Tulsa. I mean, it's just over and over and over. Rosewood, over and over and over. Anytime you build up, well, just put an expressway right through. Like somebody was even downplaying, oh, no, they didn't do that. They had to build the express. They built the expressway in pretty much every major city right through the black neighborhood and destroyed it. Some white neighborhoods, too. Some white neighborhoods, too. I can see where they made a significant impact in Bayview when they put the expressway in, when they put I-43 in. It's like they did on the north side. And so I think when we start to expand how we look at things that happen, that it goes through the south side of Milwaukee, predominantly white, and the near north side, predominantly Hispanic, you start to see that it impacted everybody, but here's the key. It impacted every group in a different way. And I think that's what we're trying to get people to understand. I'm trying to get people to understand that there's a difference between how you see it and believe it to be and how it actually is. Somebody told me the other day, well, I think equity, people have a problem with equity because equity, everything has to be equal outcome. No, it doesn't. That is not what equity means. They just want an equal opportunity. That's all black people are asking for. An equal opportunity with all things being equal. We get to come in, we get to interview, we get to do the work, we get to do whatever we need to do in order to get hired or get the job or get the loan or get in school. That's all. That's all. Nobody wants a hand up. Nobody wants a handout. Now, there's some instances in life where you owe black people because you took from us and made money off of it and then pretended like you didn't. And until you make the family of Henrietta Lacks whole, I have nothing to say to the medical community. I will always have questions about the medical community when they want black people to do something because they have not addressed what happened. They haven't addressed Tuskegee. They haven't addressed Puerto Rico. They haven't addressed any of those things. They just pretend like it didn't happen. But we'll just stop talking about it. Shh. And then they say, well, black people are apprehensive. No, it's not that black people were apprehensive. White doctors were racist. And they took advantage of. And have been making billions of dollars off of Henrietta Lacks. And waited for her to die. And then waited for her last family member to die so they didn't have to give her family money. That is the most unconscionable thing, and the judge let them do this. The judge allowed them to get continuance after continuance after continuance and should have said, absolutely not. You do not get it today. And if you're not ready today, I'm going to find you guilty and culpable, and you pay. I know that's probably the wrong word, but anyway. No reconciliation, no apologies, nothing. Just let it die. So the same laws that we scream and fight about that we have to have are the same laws that people use against us to defeat us. That's why you build your own law school. That's why you build your own medical school. Build your own engineering school. Like all this stuff that we complain that they won't let us in, create it yourself. over time, it'll open up. If you want to go to a PWI, predominantly white institution, go. I work at one. I'm perfectly fine and perfectly happy. It's not the end of the world. Human beings are human beings. People are people. They just are who they are. We are who we are. If you have something in common, being at a Christian school, or have something in common, being at a Jesuit school, which is Christian, or something like that, then it makes it all the better. But the majority of those schools are predominantly white, and they're predominantly white for a reason. Just like an HBCU is predominantly black, and they're predominantly black for a reason. So why do we get mad? Why do we get upset? Everybody wants the same thing. But what you have to be is careful. Because people will say one thing and they'll do something else. And it's unfortunate, but they will. We're all human and we're subject to failure. But sometimes, got to be careful. Got to be careful. And so, how do you know percentages of people being white? Like, I don't understand that. Why do we even bother or care? I just don't understand it. Can't people just be who they are and claim who they are? And I don't get it. 833-212-1017 is the number. Is this ever going to change? Will the world ever move away from race and start looking at the content of one's character and not the color of their skin?
Gruber Law Office's Thanalysis Live is back March 29th at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Join Thanasis Adetokunbo for a live show that's sure to entertain like none other. Last year, it was a surprise appearance from ESPN's Stephen A. Smith. You never know what Thanasis has planned for 2025. Get your tickets to Thanalysis Live right now. Visit ESPN Milwaukee on Twitter for event and ticket info. It's Gruber Law Office's Thanalysis Live, presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel and Carbless. Also supported by the Prisoner Wine Company and McDonald's.
Join your boy Tori Lowe and the Truth Team for our community cleanup on Saturday, April 12th. Go to truthcommunitycleanup.com to sign up to volunteer at one of our 3 cleanup locations. Everyone who joins gets a free lunch provided by Cousin Subs. Register today by visiting truthcommunitycleanup.com. Bring the whole family to help clean our city. The Tori Lowe Cleanup is presented by 1MKE and sponsored by Cousin Subs, Ray's Coca-Cola, Landmark Credit Union, U.S. Cellular, and Waste Management.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no. So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning, the cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org. A campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
We are the home of Milwaukee Black Talk. 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-2. Sound like a jingle. 833-212. 833-212-1017 is the number. Let me check the talking text line, see what's going on, see what folks is talking about. It's a shame that they allowed the last survivor of Tulsa to pass away without any reconciliation. And then that was from Ant. And not really a city girl said, yes, 100% Dr. Ken, it's sick. Yeah. That's not true. I've never had an iPhone, Androids from Cricket over 17 years. Never paid more than $120 for a phone. That's why your phone calls don't work. Okay, I'm just kidding. 833-212-1017. You ever just been in one of them moods? Seriously, you ever been in one of them moods?
Number 5.
From JS Online, former Milwaukee cop wins back his job after being fired for a role in the death of Keyshawn Thomas. A Milwaukee police officer, he's not a cop. Who wrote this story? David Cleary. Hey, David, they're police officers, not cops. You don't get to call them cops. Anyway, won his job back on last Friday after he was previously fired for his role in the in-custody death of a man who admitted to ingesting drugs and became physically ill before dying in a holding cell. Adam Miratato won the appeal after his firing with the city's Fire and Police Commission over the death of Keyshawn Thomas, a 20-year-old who died in 2022 while in police custody. The former police officer was, and I'm skipping over the whole cop thing he wrote because it almost feels like it's written to be derogatory. But anyway, The former police officer was fired in May 2024 for his role as one of the arresting officers after the department determined he violated several rules during his interactions, including not calling for medical aid for Thomas. 3 commissioners who comprised of the appeal panel unanimously overturned his firing, and instead, the panel gave him a 60-day suspension and dropped one of the violations he broke entirely. He was alleged to have broken entirely. If you drop it, he didn't break it. I'm not taking up for the cop, looking at the rule of law, or the rule of policy, I guess. Officer Meritato is heartened by the decision, not hardened, and he certainly learned his lesson, said Stephen McGaver, an attorney at Crivello, Nichols, and Hall, who represented the officer. He is looking forward to returning to his place as an officer with the Milwaukee Police Department. Commissioners cited Meritato's testimony and footage showing Donald W. Kruger, who was handling booking the night Thomas died, telling Meritato he would admit the man to the hospital as reasons why they made the change. Kruger and no other officer involved ultimately called for medical assistance for Thomas, despite him telling them he ingested drugs. We believe you will come back and serve the city better, said Bree Spencer, one of the 3 commissioners who heard the appeal. Spencer was joined by Commissioners Chris Snyder and Ramon Evans in making up the 3-person panel that heard the appeal over 2 days. Thomas died in February 2022 after he was pulled over on the north side. 20-year-old was arrested in connection with an outstanding warrant and spent at least 16 hours in police custody before being found unresponsive in his cell. An autopsy showed he has an acute mix of drug intoxication. He was remembered as a happy and outgoing caretaker to a large family. Mark Thompson of Gingras, Thompson and Wax, who is one of the attorneys representing Thomas's family, slammed the decision. The family recently filed a civil suit against Meritato and the other officers involved. The attorney said, I am shocked by the Fire and Police Commission that they would reverse a decision by the chief on an issue of who you can trust as a police officer when the conduct ultimately led to the death of Mr. Thomas. This is truly an unfortunate decision and micromanaging that should not be tolerated. They work for the chief. Oh, no. That's right. The chief works for them. Like, that's not micromanaging. With all due respect, and it's unfortunate that they lost their family member. The Fire and Police Commission tells the police chief what he can and can't do, or she can and can't do. Thomas's death has led to discipline for multiple officers involved, including the booking officer and another officer, Marco Lopez. Both were convicted of criminal charges related to his death. Meritato and Lloyd did not face charges. During the hearing, when asked if he would do anything different, Meritato said he would, and he blamed Kruger, the booking officer, for saying he would call medical assistance but not doing so. He apologized to the Thomas family. He said, I wish I could have done better for him. This will weigh heavily on me for the rest of my life, and it's something I don't take lightly. I take responsibility for not calling medical. So appeal hearings like Meritato's are through the Fire and Police Commission and civilian oversight body for its police and fire. Actually, it's fire and police departments. The hearing is made up of 3 members of the commission and split into 2 phases. And then it goes on to explain it. Commissioners initially tried to give Meritato, a 120-day suspension, but state law only puts the maximum significantly less than that. So they gave him 60 days, which was imposed because he was off the job for 2 years. So his record will reflect a 60-day rip for his part in this. So, all right. It's unfortunate, and I can understand how the family believes that that justice was not served. But we'll see. There's a civil lawsuit in place, and we'll see what happens.
Number 4.
This also from Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. A 49-year-old man incarcerated at the Milwaukee County Jail, we've got it again, passed away yesterday. 49-year-old inmate at the Milwaukee County Jail died yesterday after experiencing a health crisis, according to the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office. The man, who was not named in the statement issued by the Sheriff's Office, had been booked into the jail on Friday after the Sherwood Police Department arrested him on 3 unspecified criminal charges. Monday evening, a nurse who works for the facility's on-site medical provider, WellPath, observed the man experiencing a health crisis. According to the statement, emergency protocol was carried out, including the use of Narcan, a medication administered in the case of a suspected opioid overdose. Staff transported the man, who was reported to have a pulse and was breathing, to 2 separate area hospitals before he died later on Tuesday. This is the first publicly reported death at the facility since 2023. And between 2022 and 2023, the Sheriff's Office reported 6 in-custody deaths at the jail, including 2 confirmed suicides. That's unfortunate, and of course they will get to the bottom of it, and they will do a autopsy, hopefully, so that they can determine how this person passed away.
Number 3.
So this is from The Hill, and now, granted, ever since I saw that opioid movie, I think it was on Hulu, I'm not a fan of Purdue Pharma. Like, Dope Sick. I'm not a fan of Purdue Pharma at all. Like, every single thing you've ever hated about a big business, they broke it. So now they're asking the bankruptcy judge to accept the new settlement plan. Purdue Pharma has filed a new bankruptcy plan as part of a $7.4 billion settlement to resolve thousands of lawsuits over the company's alleged role in the opioid crisis months after the Supreme Court blocked a prior deal. So the bankruptcy company announced yesterday it had filed a Chapter 11 plan of reorganization in U.S. bankruptcy court for the Southern District of New York in June of last year. The Supreme Court blocked a settlement deal, finding that the Sackler family, who previously controlled Purdue Pharma, could not be released from liability under federal law, despite contributing a measly $6 billion to the settlement. Following the 2024 Supreme Court ruling, we doubled down on our commitment to work with our creditors to design a new plan that delivers unprecedented value to those affected by the opioid crisis. Today's filing is a major milestone in that effort. Really? $7.4 billion and the Purdue family put up like 6. Really? In January, Purdue Pharma and the Sacklers agreed in principle to pay a $7.4 billion settlement to resolve the multitude of lawsuits arising from the settlement by adding an additional $1.4 billion. Tuesday's court filing expands on this plan. They argue the reorganization is likely to succeed, writing, the debtors' reorganization is plainly in the public interest and favored by a balance of the harms. The debtors' proposed plan will devote billions of dollars to public opioid abatement and creditor recoveries. I would be very happy if that company didn't exist. Does that mean? Yeah, I think so. I think so. But I'd be very happy if that company just, I don't know, wasn't there anymore.
Number 2.
From blackenterprise.com. So there was a CNBC Converge live event in Singapore. John Hope Bryant, CEO of Operation Hope, took a deep dive into the ways artificial intelligence, and Sandra, I was thinking about you, where AI is going to have an impact on the American workforce. He was on a panel discussion. The event brings like executives and policymakers and thought leaders to talk about pressing issues. Bryant led the discussion for the session titled The Future of Work in the Age of AI, moderated by CNBC's Julia Borston. Bryant was in good company with fellow industry leaders, president of Leasing North America, Newmark, Elizabeth Hart, and Peta Latimer, president of Mercer Asia. So the group talked about how AI is causing implications on employment, economic structures, in particular, employees with limited access to career development opportunities. We're not spending enough time focusing on the bottom of the pyramid. Convenience store jobs are gone. Grocery store jobs are gone. This is not the future. This is right now. Now, according to CNBC, the financial literacy and economic empowerment nonprofit leader claimed AI will create waves of change, calling it a complete do-over of society. He warned about how AI will affect those who don't have education past high school unless something's done about it. He said, so if you have a high school education and limited relationship capital, and you don't have a government and a private sector that's prioritizing upskilling its people on AI, in 5 years, between 2025 and 2030, the world is going to pass you by. Interesting. The world is going to pass you by. You have got to have some type of AI in your future so you can make money. He recommended certain policies like tax incentives toward apprenticeships, financial literacy, education, AI workforce training in order to teach people how to properly use AI. As a result, employment rates could accelerate and would address the class divide that America has, making it more difficult for the working and middle class to climb up the ladder. He said the problem we have today is you have all this wealth where money is creating more money, and money creating more money is more valuable than labor creating more money. It's easier to invest and have your money make money than it is to actually work.
Number 1.
Well, you've heard it, but it's coming again. Southeastern Wisconsin faces an impact for weather with rain by midday and thunderstorms possible near the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. By evening, that's today, right now, showers become more sporadic, but wet roads are expected during rush hour. Rain will turn to snow around midnight, tapering off in the morning, and a wind advisory will start at 7 p.m. Wednesday, continue to 8 a.m. to 7 a.m. on Thursday. Gusts may reach 40 to 50 miles an hour, and the change from rain to snow may create slick conditions on roads before crews can respond. Milwaukee could see up to 1 inch of snow with slightly lower amounts near the state line. Higher snow totals up to 2 to 3 inches are likely north and west in the state. So, what are we looking at? It's March. Week after next is April, and we still have snow in the forecast. Not only is that unconscionable, it's insulting.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, the Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Milwaukee Black Talk.
And Joe Biden wasn't very controversial. He wasn't. Now, he might have done some things in his long, storied past, but if you all have been in the same line of work for 46 years, you probably have done some questionable things too. Joe Biden was a safe choice. He was a level of common sense. He was a level of stability. He was a familiar political commodity. Democrats don't have that right now. Democrats are caught with their pants completely down.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
From my family and myself, I would like to say thank you to Gruber Law Offices for taking such good care of us.
I would say thank you because you're so human and so much of a friend during the whole process.
I'm super grateful for them representing me and doing all that they did for me.
I would just say thank you for making me feel better.
That's why I'm here, to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Milwaukee, there are two ways to get things done, and they both take time. One is a request, and the other is a mandate. We Energies has raised rates 7 times in the last 12 years, and now they're planning new gas plants and extending the life of old coal plants in Oak Creek. We need a mandate. No new power plants or coal extensions until affordability is guaranteed for all. Join us at the public hearing on Tuesday, March 25th at 1 p.m. at the Oak Creek Community Center Ballroom. It's time to show up, speak out, and demand change. Milwaukee, let's make our voices heard.
President Trump and Elon Musk are forcing radical changes in Washington, from stopping payments for health care and threatening to restrict abortion rights to accessing Americans' private information. With Washington out of control, who we elect to the Wisconsin Supreme Court could be the last line of defense of our rights. The ACLU Voter Education Fund does not endorse or oppose candidates, but wants you to cast an informed vote in the Wisconsin Supreme Court election. So where do the candidates land on issues like abortion? Brad Schimmel stated he supports banning abortion. Susan Crawford successfully protected abortion rights while representing Planned Parenthood in Wisconsin. We need a Wisconsin Supreme Court that can be a check and balance to protect us when our rights are threatened at the federal level. On April 1st, Wisconsin voters will make a critical decision about the future of abortion in our state. To learn more about the Wisconsin Supreme Court candidates, visit aclu.org/WI2025. Paid for by ACLU Voter Education Fund, 212-549-2500. Not authorized by any candidate or candidate's agent or committee.
ACLU Voter Education Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Curly Q said, I'm behind on the feed, but I was never suckered by Apple. Just saying. Also, Dr. Ken, make sure you log out of the YouTube login. Watch this. Okay. I log out every day. But I know probably if I leave myself logged in, Sherwin probably goes in and does all kind of crazy stuff. I'm Dr. Ken. Anyway, that was my Sherwin. I'm Dr. Ken. So sometimes you have to. He almost sounds like Anyway, let me stop. Martin says his blankety blank should still been fired. The commission is trash. Well, listen to what they were talking about and see if you can get the transcript of the meeting or something and hear what happened. Like, here's my question. And I'm not talking about this. I had nothing to do with this. So why is it there's never any redemption, any forgiveness to law enforcement? Fire department could let your house burn down. People could die, and nobody would say anything about it. Cop makes a mistake, or 3-year cop leans on 25-year veteran who made a decision and said they were going to do something and then didn't do it, but yet you blame the officer because he should have, followed up to make sure the person who was the booker called the ambulance like he was supposed to? And so then you lose your job when, in fact, you probably should have got a 30 or 60-day rip because you should have followed up with the booker to say, hey, dude, did you? But we have this thing of zero tolerance. If you make one mistake, you fire everybody. But when the police come in your house to arrest a family member, we're supposed to be forgiving. We have to be understanding. Why is it only one way? Why is it always only one way? Your way. How about doing things right because it's actually the right thing to do? And firefighters are not accountable. I say this to myself over my career in Milwaukee. And, hey, Aaron Lipsky, that's my dude, fire chief. Firefighters get away with a significant amount of stuff, I think, that police don't. This idiocy of higher standards, how is there a higher standard? You get 5 things before you lose your job and you get 12 things before. No, the law's the law. You get the same standards. You get the same laws, the same rule of law. If it's illegal, it's illegal, and if it's not, it's not. If it's a rule violation, it's a rule violation. If it's not, it's not. But to have 100% accountability is just ridiculous. 100%? Well, then we need to hold the public to 100% too. Every time you're arrested, you should have a trial. Every time you have a trial, it should be guilty or not guilty. Our courts will be backed up until our great-great-grandchildren are born, and we'll never get out of it. Val said, you can't even, did you actually say something about forgiveness and you can't even forgive Will Smith? I said, no. I'm mad at Will Smith. There's nothing to forgive because he didn't slap me. And I didn't slap him, and he didn't slap nobody I even care about. So I'm not bothered. I don't have to forgive Will Smith, but that don't mean I like him. I cannot like you for what you did, but I don't have anything to forgive. Like, he ain't my dude. Like, hey, never met the man before. I just simply dislike what he did. That's all. And I find it interesting that that always works with other people, but never works with us, with the individual. We can dish that out really well about forgiveness till somebody else wrongs us or does something to us, and then we're ready to snap and break off their neck. Man, I'm perfectly okay with it. And firefighters are not accountable. I'm just saying that because I know firefighters. I'm just poking them. But this assumption that everybody should be fired because they got in trouble, that's just ridiculous. But I actually worked with a person on the Milwaukee Police Department who actually said that anybody that gets written up deserves some type of punishment. And I 100% lost 100% of my whatever little respect I had for this person. It was gone. To this day, I think about that and I think how many people got jammed up or jacked over because this knucklehead decided that everybody's guilty if they get written up. Because why would somebody actually say that to me? Well, why would the person lie? Are you kidding me? Like, what? Like, I remember somebody on command staff saying that to me. Well, why would they lie? So I'm lying automatically? Like, listen to what you're saying. Why would I have to justify somebody else making something up? Go talk to them. You asked me whether or not something happened, and I said no. Well, why would they lie? So I'm automatically the liar? And then I remember, subtle bigotry. Low expectation. Got it. So you just expect me to just be wrong all the time. It's always my fault. And it wasn't until I got promoted and got my own command that I started to see that circular logic of, white females taking care of white females, white males taking care of white males. And they really didn't care about everybody else. And if you didn't work in a certain place, you got some love, but for the most part, you didn't. And they tried to destroy your career, tried to stab you in the back, said and did things that they tried to get you in trouble on multiple occasions, but didn't. So you got to watch your back. And it's unfortunate because these are the same people that have to watch your back. And they don't. But we're also talking about what? Less than 1%, 2% of a population of cops. The majority of them are there to do the greatest job that they possibly can and help people and live their life and raise their kids and families and do great things. And they do. It's just the knuckleheads we keep pointing out. I said, I was talking to somebody about the counties and how they report drugs and all that stuff. Well, I'm afraid to be in Milwaukee because, I don't know how you live down there. All the crime. Well, it's more people in Milwaukee, so you have more crime. I said, but the place I wouldn't be is north of Highway 60. The place I wouldn't be is Ozaukee County. But then I asked the person, when's the last time, think about this, when's the last time you heard about a big drug bust in Milwaukee? When's the last time you heard about a big drug ring in Milwaukee? I'm not talking about the gang banging and all that stuff. I'm talking about the big drug ring. It's in Ozaukee and Washington and Greene and all those other counties. Why is that? I wonder why that is. I find that amazing that all those issues, and then they realize, oh, they don't have to come to Milwaukee to get drugs. They got them up there.
More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Finding stable housing shouldn't be a struggle. The Milwaukee Rental Housing Resource Center connects renters, property owners, and partners to the resources they need, whether it's rental assistance, legal aid, mediation, or tenant education. No matter what your situation is, you do not have to go at it alone. Get assistance today by visiting renthelpmke.org. That is renthelpmke.org, or stop by their office at 728 North James Lovell Street in Milwaukee. At the Milwaukee Rental Housing Resource Center, they are here for all your housing needs.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The award-winning 1017 The Truth proudly celebrates Women's History Month. Listen to one of our incredible Truth teammates highlight the remarkable achievements of Black women throughout history.
To celebrate this year's Women's History Month, I'd like to take time to honor Judge Constance Baker Motley. When I think of Judge Motley, I think of one word: pioneer. She was a trailblazing American civil rights activist, lawyer, and jurist. Breaking barriers throughout her illustrious career, she played a pivotal role in the legal battles that reshaped the landscape of racial equality in the United States. Born on September 14, 1921 in New Haven, Connecticut, she faced racial discrimination but excelled academically. In 1943, she became the first Black woman to graduate from Columbia Law School, setting the stage for her groundbreaking legal career. Freshly out of law school, Motley worked as a law clerk for Thurgood Marshall within the NAACP's Legal Defense and Educational Fund. She quickly gained recognition for her skills in the courtroom, playing a crucial role in desegregation cases, including the landmark Brown v. Board of Education in 1954. Motley's brilliance continued to shine through as she broke new ground as the first Black woman elected to the New York State Senate in 1964. And a year later, she broke another barrier as President Lyndon B. Johnson appointed her as the first Black female federal judge in the country. Judge Motley's impact and legacy can still be felt today, even outside of the courtroom. She's inspired generations to continue to fight for justice and equality. Thank you, Judge Motley, for being a phenomenal woman and a pioneer.
Tune in to The Truth as we celebrate the greatness of Black women all month long.
You cannot look me in the face and tell me that America is the greatest country in the world when you have people who cannot have access to quality health care.
This is The Truth Unfiltered with Denise Thomas and Dr. Ken Harris.
We need to change the structure of insurance companies to make them nonprofits so that there's not a profit motive for you to make up your mind as to whether or not you're going to help somebody.
Sundays starting at 7 on 620 WTMJ and Mondays at 6 on 1017 The Truth.
And now with traffic on 1017 The Truth, here's Debbie Lazica. Debbie.
Big delays along southbound 43 from about Keefe all the way down through the Marquette down to the KK River. Northbound still heavy out of the Marquette all the way up to Keefe. We've got an issue along eastbound 94. The right lane is blocked with a broken down vehicle right about at 35th Street. So that's slowing things down from before 84th Street to that point. Just take that back a step, and we've got big delays from Springdale Road all the way past Barker Road to Brookfield Road. Southbound 41 slowing from Appleton Avenue all the way down past Capitol. Northbound slow from Watertown Plank Road all the way past Burleigh. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, rain to snow, breezy with up to 2 inches possible, a low of 29. Then tomorrow, chance for snow early, breezy with clearing skies, a high of 41. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
This is Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth. It's powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. Another tough night for Giannis and the Bucks as they fall to Golden State on the road, 104-93. After the game, head coach Doc Rivers speaking on the issues facing his team.
We don't have the right space, and the ball's not moving. We're not attacking. We're not getting to the paint. I got a whole list, but we got to do it, and I got to get them to do it. That's my job.
The loss drops the Bucks to an overall record of 38-30 as they get set to travel out to L.A. on Thursday night to face off with the Lakers. To the NFL, where the Green Bay Packers have signed wide receiver Mecole Hardman to a one-year deal. And lastly, we'll head over to baseball, where the Milwaukee Brewers fall into Seattle in spring training, this one by a final score of 9-3. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is a number for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. You can accomplish a lot of stuff you can do in 6 years. 2 times 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 plus 2. About to say 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 2 is 8. So I'd have been wrong. It would only take 6 years. What can you do in 6 years? What are some of the things? 3 and 3. What can you do? 3 and 3. What takes 3 years to do? Maybe get a master's degree? So you can get 2. I don't know. You can get a bachelor's degree, a master's, and a PhD in 6 years, I think. Depends on what the degree is. It really doesn't matter. You can take up to 6 years to pay off your brand new Pella windows and doors as well at 0% interest. 10-year warranty is always included, so your windows and your doors are secure for years to come. Certain restrictions apply. Offer ends March 31st of 2025, so set your free in-home consultation today. Go to PellaWI.com. That's PellaWI.com. Make sure you sign up for that. 6 years. What can you get done in 6? What things take 6 years to do? Can't think of anything. Can't think of anything. Interesting. There are so many things in the news that I love to use y'all word that trigger me. But see, if I say something about it, they'll be like, "Oh, well, that's just mean. You're insensitive." Yes, I am. There's some things I'm insensitive about because I had to what? I had to bite the bullet and soldier through all that junk because I had to go to work every day. So I'm waiting to hear back. Susan Crawford, State Supreme Court, and I'm waiting to hear back from Brad Schimmel. Hopefully I can have one or both of them on next week. Whoever calls first gets in first. Whoever follows up gets in. And I want to get them in and talk about what's going on with the Supreme Court race. I have my misgivings with both of them. And so I want to air out that grievance. And I have one question, and I think it's fair. I think it's equitable. I'm going to use diversity, equity, and inclusion on both of them. How's that? I'm going to be equitable. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to be inclusive. So there you go. Seriously. The caller said, "Good doc, your comments about the young lady with Colombian ancestry," she's not Colombian, she's half Colombian, half white, playing Snow White reminds me of Garrett Morris in the movie Who's Your Caddy? Garrett asked a racist white country club member, "Why can't a black man be Captain Crunch?" I vaguely remember that. I don't vaguely remember it being that funny. But I vaguely remember that movie, Who's Your Caddy? I can also see why that will bother somebody, too. I'm just saying. Dr. Ken, make sure you log out. That's a weird thing. That's weird. Why are you telling me to log out? RC said, "I've seen stories on firefighters stealing from houses during fires. I thought that was wild. Corruption can be everywhere." That's a crime. That's not corruption. Like, corruption is, they're corrupt. They were stealing a little money off the top of. No. A crime is like you just broke in and did it. I'm just saying. You just broke in and did it. No, they're not. They're both crimes. I get it. Must be in Illinois. Yes, I have started teasing about Illinois because some of my friends and some of my students have started telling me about some of the laws in Illinois and some of the things that they're doing. And I was like, wait, you're going to what? And so, and I'm trying to find the story because when I first read it, It didn't make any sense to me, but then I read it closer, and I went, okay. So let me see if I can find this story because it kind of made me think about what exactly was happening. And it was a story about Governor Evers. Let me see if I can go to the one place I think it is. All right. Looking there. Did they remove the story? Okay, here it is. All right, I found it. Luckily, before we had to go to break. So, JS Online, Laura Schulte wrote a story. Here's some of the key points. One-time vehicle title fees, right? So when you come in, you pay a title fee, and then you just get a copy of your title, or you transfer the title, or do whatever. Normally paid during the purchase of a new vehicle. Well, they want to increase it, and the governor says the increased fee will generate $282 million for transportation improvements over 2 years. Republicans are unlikely to approve the increases as part of the state budget, calling the proposal just another terrible idea. Governor Tony Evers recommended increasing the vehicle title fee by more than 70%. So it's not on everybody when you register your car every year, which is going up incrementally. It's It's when you buy a brand new car and it's titled to you. He wants the price to go up on that. So in his proposed biennial budget, Evers recommended raising the fee by $120 from $164.50 to $284.50. According to estimations in the proposal document, that price jump would raise nearly $120.4 million in 2026 and $160.2 million in 2027. The money would be used to support the repair and development of Wisconsin roadway. Do we have enough roadways to need $250 million to fix it? Vehicle title fees are, of course, paid once when someone purchases a new vehicle, are normally lumped in with the purchase of the car, and it doesn't have to be paid again. You should never lump it in the purchase of a car because that's just interest that people can get off of you. Anyway, along with the title fee, he suggested raising the driver's license renewal fee by $8.50 from $24 to $32.50. That would raise $3.2 million in 2026 and $4.3 million in 2027. Money generated would support roads and bridges in addition to air, rail, public transit, harbors, and bicycle and pedestrian facilities. DOT says the increase in Wisconsin fees would be a bargain for owning a vehicle compared to neighboring states. For example, according to the agency, it would cost $361 in fees and taxes to own a Ford F-110 truck or similar model. In Minnesota, it's $966, Illinois, $941, and in Michigan, $663. A Honda CR-V or similar model, Wisconsin taxes and fees would be $199 compared to $615 in Minnesota, $493 in Illinois, and $328 in Michigan. That is not a reason to do something. Well, ours will still be cheaper. What? Makes no difference. So we need to come up with some better ways to generate revenue. And we need to stop people from driving like fools and tearing up the road. So if you want something different, right? If you want a car that's over a certain amount of years old and you want it vintage, charge more for those plates. You want vanity plates, charge more. You want butter plates and bucks plates and blackout themes and whatever kind of theme you want other than that regular plate, you should pay for it. That's just me. That's just me. And so you say the tariffs are going to drive up the cost of gas and hurt farmers and all that, and then you jack up prices that are going to hurt people. And who are you going to blame for that? Who are you going to blame? It costs too much money. It costs way too much. It costs too much money to live. Now, granted, Wisconsin is a much cheaper state than a lot of other states. It is. It's a lot cheaper. But at some point, we got to put an end to it, and we have to figure out new ways to raise money. We really do. It's starting to get ridiculous. It's starting to get, ridiculous.
Say it again.
And so, okay. So it just, I don't know. We got to find new ways to raise revenue. I'm trying to think of some ways. Oh, wait, I know. Raise those things, lower taxes, right? Because we got how many, like $6 billion sitting in? Yeah. And we don't want to give people back their money. You know, giving the extra money back, they could actually pay for the increase of a new car. That's just me. We could actually pay. We could pay for a new car. Let's give me my money back. I wonder how much that would be in the state if we had $6 billion and gave back all the money. I wonder what that would look like. How many people in Wisconsin? It's only 5.9 million people in Wisconsin. So if you got how many $1 billion and you just divided it and gave everybody, not just because taxpayers are significantly less. So if you think about how many taxpayers, right? If you think about how many taxpayers, you're talking, not a lot. Nowhere near that millions of people, near 5 million people. So you could get a nice chunk of change back. I'm just saying, nice chunk of change. Not.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Here at the new 1017 The Truth, we aim to be a staple in Milwaukee's Black community. We are committed to partnering with local organizations and supporting Black-owned businesses. We are proud to call Milwaukee our city and promise to be a positive reflection of our community. We look forward to celebrating Black culture and excellence with you every day as we make history and continue to uplift the voices in our city. Join us for the journey at the new 1017 The Truth, founded by Gruber Law Offices. Milwaukee, Black Talk.
President Trump and Elon Musk are forcing radical changes in Washington, from stopping payments for health care and threatening to restrict abortion rights to accessing Americans' private information. With Washington out of control, who we elect to the Wisconsin Supreme Court could be the last line of defense of our rights. The ACLU Voter Education Fund does not endorse or oppose candidates, but wants you to cast an informed vote in the Wisconsin Supreme Court election. So where do the candidates land on issues like abortion? Brad Schimmel stated he supports banning abortion. Susan Crawford successfully protected abortion rights while representing Planned Parenthood in Wisconsin. We need a Wisconsin Supreme Court that can be a check and balance to protect us when our rights are threatened at the federal level. On April 1st, Wisconsin voters will make a critical decision about the future of abortion in our state. To learn more about the Wisconsin Supreme Court candidates, visit aclu.org/WI2025. Paid for by ACLU Voter Education Fund, 212-549-2500. Not authorized by any candidate or candidate's agent or committee.
ACLU Voter Education Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Milwaukee, We Energies has raised rates 7 times in the last 12 years, and now they're planning new gas plants and extending the life of old coal plants in Oak Creek. They claim it's for economic growth and data center demands, but it's an investment scheme where only shareholders win. We need a mandate. No new power plants or coal extensions until affordability is guaranteed for all. Join us at the public hearing on Tuesday, March 25th at 1 p.m. at the Oak Creek Community Center Ballroom. It's time to show up, speak out, and demand change. Milwaukee, let's make our voices heard.
Truth Nation, gear up for a great time as Sports Milwaukee hosts Milwaukee Tailgate Week, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Set for April 24th to the 26th, Milwaukee Tailgate Week features a variety of gridiron activations for all ages, steeped in Milwaukee's iconic sports history, attractions, brews, restaurants, and venues. As the 2025 draft takes center stage in Green Bay, Sports Milwaukee and the Cream City are excited to welcome the football world back to Wisconsin. For tickets, go to visitmilwaukee.org/tailgate. Brought to you by Visit Milwaukee. Handcrafted, homegrown, world class.
Is your washing machine not quite getting the job done the way you expected? Running your dryer over and over because it is taking forever to dry your clothes? Be frustrated no more, because Create Suds Laundromat in Milwaukee can get rid of all your washing and drying headaches. They offer new big load washers and dryers to reduce your cleaning time and even have free Wi-Fi for customers. Stop battling with stubborn stains and piles of laundry and visit Create Suds Laundromat. They are open every day from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Yeah. Interesting. Another one of those stories I didn't get back to. There's a bill in Illinois that wants to change homeschooling The only specific requirement for homeschooling is that certain subject areas be taught. Required subjects include some, but the bill would change homeschooling across America. It would actually change homeschooling and make it difficult so that teachers can take over some of it. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. The Analysis Podcast is coming up at 6 o'clock, so make sure you hang around for the best right here on 101.7 The Truth. I want to say thank you to DJ Brother Z. Appreciate you.
All right, Dr. Ken for 46. Let's get it.
All right. God bless. Take care. Hey, y'all. I'll see you on Monday. Taking a couple days off. Relax. Hang out. Get some stuff done. I'm out.